Imagine doing everything right, studying harder than anyone you know, sacrificing, dreaming, only to find out the future you were promised simply isn't there. Over 1.3 young Ghanaians aged 15 to 24 are trapped, not in school, not working, not even training. They played by the rules, but the game changed. This isn't about laziness, it's not about a lack of ambition, and it's definitely not what politicians or NGOs usually tell you. The real reason will shock you, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because we are about to expose the hidden flaw in Ghana's promise to its youth. Meet Abena, not just one girl, but the echoes of thousands. 2 years ago, she graduated, certificate in hand, eyes bright with the future. First 3 months, non-stop applications. Every single job demanded 2 years experience. She had none. Month 5, she started hustling. Deliveries, small repairs, anything to survive. Month 9, the frustration became a crushing weight. She stopped. Then the family pressure returned, a silent expectation she couldn't ignore. So she forced herself to start again. Every choice Abena made felt logical, rational, but together they led nowhere. This isn't about Abena failing. This is about a system that's not just failing her, but actively trapping an entire generation. Here's the infuriating paradox. Ghana has done almost everything the development experts recommended. Expanded education? Check. Growing economy in places? Check. Policies on paper? Check. So why is a whole generation that studied hard, played by the rules, still locked out of stable livelihoods? We are going to unpack the real answer today, and I promise you, it's not the usual blame game. It's something far deeper. It's about how the entire system, the very architecture of opportunity, was built, and why it's now collapsing under its own weight. In a recent survey, thousands of young Ghanaians were asked straight up what they think. 41% said the country isn't doing enough for them. They even gave credit for more people getting into school. But when asked where it's really failing, they pointed at poverty, bad sanitation, terrible roads, and the crushing lack of real opportunities after graduation. Imagine this. A young girl wakes before dawn in a rural community. She walks over an hour on a dusty, uneven road, rain turning it into slippery mud in the wet season, just to reach a basic classroom with no running water and barely functioning toilets. She endures the heat, the hunger, the long trek back home, and somehow she still graduates, certificate in hand, eyes full of hope. But the world waiting for her outside that classroom, it hasn't changed enough to welcome her. No stable job, no real opportunity. Just the same struggle, now heavier with expectations and disappointments. That's the heartbreaking part. The numbers aren't just about schools getting more students in. They're about the entire broken ecosystem surrounding them. The roads, the poverty, the sanitation, the opportunities that never arrived. Back to Abena. She joined a government skill program, qualified, enrolled, excited. 6 weeks in, program pauses, funding delay. She waits, it restarts, she finishes, gets the certificate. Now she applies, but most matching jobs are in Accra. She's in Ronga Hafo. Moving there, The cost is more than she earns in months. Nothing here was deliberate sabotage. The program worked on paper. She completed it. Yet she's still stuck. This is what a real system bottleneck feels like. Not a locked door you can kick down, but endless corridors with too many delays and not enough room at the end. Over 70% of Ghanaians feel excluded from decisions that affect them. Among youth, it's more than half. Ghana builds youth councils and forums, but many young people ask, when we speak, does anything actually change? Here's where it gets brutally clear. Ghana has pillars: education, jobs, sanitation, energy, with programs and even a big financing strategy. But look at how they connect. Education expanded faster than jobs could absorb the graduates. Platforms were created before trust could build. Money arrives, but institutions sometimes can't spend it fast or smart enough. The hidden truth? Many of these systems were designed years ago for a much smaller number of young people entering the market. Now they are being asked to handle hundreds of thousands more every single year. A job system built for 10,000 graduates doesn't automatically scale to 100,000 plus. That mismatch in scale and speed is where people fall through the gaps. Progress is real, but architecture isn't built for today's generation. It's crumbling. This reframes everything. More money alone won't fix it if the system can't process it at this new scale. More forums won't help if real decisions don't shift. Rural poverty isn't just lack of cash. It's how opportunities are distributed unevenly, unfairly. The good news? Understanding this is the first step to real change. We don't need to throw everything away. We need to upgrade the architecture so it matches the energy, the ambition, and the sheer size of Ghana's youth today. Now, for those who stuck around, here are 3 critical shifts Ghana needs to make, not just for the youth, but for its entire future. First, from certificates to skills. We need to move beyond just getting degrees and focus on practical market-relevant skills. What if every school was also a skill hub, directly connected to local industries? Second, from isolated programs to ecosystems. Stop creating one-off programs that don't connect. We need integrated ecosystems where education, training, mentorship, funding, and job placement all work together seamlessly. Imagine a single platform where Abena could find training, a mentor, and a job lead all in one place. And third, from top down to community-led. The best solutions often come from the ground up. Empower local communities and youth themselves to design and implement solutions that truly fit their needs. We started with cold numbers. Over 1.3 million young Ghanaians stuck outside education, work, or training. We end with a better question. What would it truly take for the systems we already have to actually work at the scale this ready generation needs? The youth are prepared. The real test is whether the structures around them can catch up. Now tell me in the comments, honestly, what is one thing that needs to change in the system closest to you so more young people can actually break through? I read every single comment. If this video helped you to see the issue differently, if it sparked something in you, then hit that like button and subscribe for more. The next one drops soon. Thanks for watching till the end. Let's keep this vital conversation going below. See you in the next video.